Hi.
Hi. Yeah, let's do a check-in.
Do you want to start?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, things are moving along, and I've gotten three different perspectives on my left ovary, and so I've agreed to have it come out. So now it's trying to coordinate with the doctor so he can do both procedures at the same time. And I feel good about that decision. So, and I'm happy that summer is finally here. And let's see, today is Thursday. It's been a good week. It's been a good week. That's all.
Eve, do you mind me asking what the second procedure was? If the
Yeah,
one moved the
yeah.
over?
I had a pelvic ultrasound done, and they found the lining of the uterus is too thick, which would be, indicative of someone who has endometriosis, but that's not normal for this age. And so, initially they were going to, and they found a 3-centimeter cyst on my left ovary. So initially they were going to do why am I blanking on the word? A biopsy in the office, but that was too difficult. So I gotta go under anesthesia, and don't relish the idea of having to do it during summertime, but hopefully it shouldn't be too much of a recovery time. And I've read, as far as the ovary goes, I've read back and forth. You should leave them in, you should take them out. You should leave them in, you should take them out. Just doesn't seem to be consensus on them. And I had to, finally, I wasn't satisfied until I got an opinion from another woman, because these were two male doctors. And one was very invested in it because his wife survived ovarian cancer. And that's the big thing that they're concerned about.
Will you get a hysterectomy, or is it?
Not necessarily.
Oh, good.
Not necessarily. If they find that it is, if there's any indication of cancer or real problems, then I think they'd refer me to somebody else. And yeah, that probably would go in that direction. Do you have experience in this area?
Well, I know that my mom had a hysterectomy because the walls of her uterus were thickening up. Yeah. And the doctor went straight to just having it removed, and it was a very simple procedure. Yeah. They do it through, sometimes up through your cervix, or they do it in ways that are not intrusive.
Right,
laparoscopy. Very quick recovery.
Yeah.
And so you just have to trust, right? You just have to trust.
That's it. Yeah, and right at this moment, that's new for me, not to feel fear about it. So yeah, that's a good thing. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, well, best to you. Maybe we could even, part of our ritual could be sending you healing.
Thank you. I have one date, but I don't know if it'll be changed, because it's now will be a longer procedure when they take the ovary out. I'm hoping to keep the other ovary, but we'll see.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you nurture or take care of others? Is that part of your MO? Is that?
Have been, but not exclusively.
Yeah, I have found that women who give so much of themselves, like we all do, but especially in the need to care and care and care, have a tendency to deplete their female organs of their life force because we are sharing our life force. So, it shows up in our breasts or it shows up in our uterus or our ovaries because of the caring or the worrying for others, and not balancing that out with
Self-care.
self-care.
Yeah. No, I'm the past 2 years have been focused on self-care. So, but the worry issue certainly has been a big issue. So,
Well, if it's only been a couple years, if you don't mind me saying, the power in this presenting itself now,
yeah,
is truly could be a sign of you healing from that over
yes,
prior to the 2 years, meaning something in you recognized a shift was needed, self
yes,
started, and part of that self-care is the awareness that maybe some of those organs which are depleted of its life force
yeah,
are weak, and you can work with your doctor on how to either, and how to get everything back into sync and into alignment into who you are now.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that bigger, wider perspective.
Well, it's actually all really empowering.
Yeah,
It's like the universe is working in your favor right now to support what you
yeah,
have started.
yeah. What a nice reframe. Thank you.
Okay, let's add that to today's healing, the feminine, the female energy, organs, body.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Psyche. Who else wants to share how they are today?
Well, I'm here. I I'm good, but I had a really tough night, and that's always makes getting into the day difficult when I don't sleep well. Um, I just love hearing from you, Evie, and how grounded you feel and trusting your decision and being at peace with it. It just you've just come so far, and I just, having walked with you through those difficult years, I just love it. It just somehow your new energy, your um, new groundedness, I think, is energy that blesses all of us. So as you heal, we heal. So
Thank you.
just another reminder of how connected we are. And on that, I guess what I'd share is that connectedness last week. And I don't know if I shared this with any of you last week, but I was just depleted of energy. I mean, like somebody had just opened the valve and everything had drained out. And there were days where, it's like, oh, to even have the energy to get dressed and go to the grocery store, something just seemed like way too much. Or it was extreme. And I was just like, what's going on? And I couldn't think of anything. Tom said, well, do you think you should take a COVID test? And I said, well, no, because I feel fine. My body feels fine physically. I just don't have any energy, any passion. I'm just kind of in a funk. And it was interesting because I had lunch and then it went away. Like over the weekend, I don't know, by Sunday, I went, oh my gosh, I just have so much energy, Monday and Tuesday, and just almost more energy. And then having lunch with a friend yesterday, she started sharing first, and she shared about how last week she was in this funk, and she couldn't figure it out, and she just couldn't get out of it for like 3 or 4 days. And she went on to talk about it, and it passed like mine. And I'm just listening to it, and I'm saying, when she finally finished sharing, I said, oh my gosh, it's like we were in the same place at the same time. And neither one of us having any, kind of, she had really gone through all the things happening in her life and everything seemed fine. She checked in with her daughter and said, do you think this is, and it's just, we started thinking, wow, was there something astrological? I mean, because I don't do astrology, but I'll read about things. Was there anything, I don't know if anyone knows if there was anything strange going on last week, or what was passing, where the planet, and no, wasn't there that when all the planets lined up, was that last week? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just glad it's passed, because it was the first time that it was severe enough that I told my husband that, if this doesn't go away soon, I guess I need to go to my primary doctor and ask about this. And I don't like to share that kind of stuff with my primary doctor, my naturopath maybe, but because she'll just run a whole bunch of tests, she'll order all kinds of tests. And so anyway, if anyone has any thoughts on that, I'd appreciate it, but it's gone. I'm glad. Even though I'm tired today, I'm feeling, and I feel my energy is okay. I feel grounded. And
Was it a full moon?
I think, yes, it was last. Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah, I don't know. And the universe keeps connecting me with people around the country. I mean, or the world actually. But I was on a Joan Boychenko solstice call on Tuesday. And when she put us, and I came in late because I'd been to the eye doctor and my eyes were like dilated. And so I thought I missed most of it. I missed the first half hour. And right when I came in, she was putting us into chat rooms of like 3 people. And I thought, and she said, well, I'll just put you in the same rooms as earlier, which I wasn't on. And I thought, oh gosh, am I not going to get into a chat room? But she put me in a chat room with just one person, just this amazing woman with a smile that would just knock your socks off. I mean, she just had that kind of energy and joy. And we had 2 questions we were supposed to talk about in the chat rooms. We never got to them. I mean, we connected immediately, and we just started sharing, and decided that we wanted to continue our conversation. So we exchanged email addresses, and within an hour, she had already contacted me, and I see there's another email this morning. So, so for whatever reason, these connections are being made. And do any of you, NPR has something called StoryCorps? Yeah, and she's involved in that, and she was. She told me that tomorrow I'm lined up with this man who's on the very conservative end, way away from me, and she says, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a little anxious, but I'm looking forward to being able to just listen to him and not judge. And I sent her an email wishing her blessings during this call, knowing that both she and he would both be different because of it. And she emailed me back last night and said, oh my gosh, it was so amazing. She said he came loaded, just loaded for war. He was battled. He was like, and she said, as I listened to him, she said, and she didn't go into the details, but she said, by the end of the call, he'd laid down all his weapons and we had this call, and just, she's emphasizing, oh, this is what, I told her earlier, I said, this is what we need to do if we're going to heal the world. And so it was cool. And I had not heard of StoryCorps.
You have to listen to it, Lynn.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's on Friday mornings. Used to be at 8:30 or 7:30, something like that. But
Okay.
it's very powerful, poignant.
Yeah, and when I Googled online StoryCorps, I got a whole bunch of, I got connected to the NPR one, and they had lots of short videos that you could watch. But I was trying to figure out how you can participate if you want to be someone like this Amy that I met, who is open to having those kinds of conversations. And I could never find anything that said that. So I need to ask her about that. I don't know.
Well, that's what compassionate listening does.
Oh, exactly. It's the same thing. You know, it's
Or
the same.
braver angels, the
Or
ones.
yeah. Right. But this sounded like they were purposely matching people on the opposite ends of the spectrum, which I guess in braver angels, they do that too. Anyway, that's me.
That's cool.
Well, I started a program last year called the 7 Days of Grace, and I would open it up to a very small group of women primarily that would join me for 7 days over 7 weeks, and we would go through a series of rituals, clearing out our grace centers and opening ourselves up to become these vessels for grace in the world, where then we could represent this divine feminine energy to help heal the world wherever it's needed. And we meet online now once a month. I think there's a total of 11 of us so far. But one of the things that I'm asking the group to do is excuse me, create a grace journal, which is really similar to a gratitude journal. But to find and witness and then document within the journal 5 representations of grace that they witness in the world. And this story, Lynn, that you just shared of this woman interviewing a very conservative man, who came with guns blazing, ready to fight, ready to protect, ready to defend, and by the end laid all of his weapons down, is the best representation of grace. So here's my grace journal, and if you don't mind, I'll record it without names, but just so I have documented it. The intention in doing this grace journal is I know how powerful a gratitude journal is. So many years ago, when it very first became a thing, I did it, I committed myself to 1 year and ended up doing it for 2 years. Religiously, every night, I recorded 3 to 5 things that I was grateful for, and it shifted my entire world, and the effects of that are still with me. I was changed at the cellular level, seriously. So my hope is by getting in the habit of recording representations of grace that the 11 of us witness, is to, first of all, do it at night so we can remember and look back upon our day at all that was good. And then, have that energy percolate within our psyche as we sleep, which can only be healthy. So anyway, we just started it. I'm on my 2nd week of it. But the intention is to really, truly, grace means something different to everybody. So I had everybody, there was I kind of drew it out, but I gave everyone a form, and it's like a grace starburst with 8 arms, with grace in the middle, and then everybody would write down what grace, 8 representations of what grace meant to them, because it's not easy to recognize grace right away. But if you associate compassion with grace, or joy with grace, or hope with grace, or empowerment with grace, like I do, then when you see a representation of empowerment being played out or compassion being played out, we might not label that as grace, but it is grace to me, because that's how I label grace. I'll come back and I'll write and document it. And then when we meet once a month online, these 11 women are from around the country and world, is I'll ask them to give one representation of the month of that was really powerful for them, because not only do I hope that they will begin to view the world on the other side of the coin versus the coin of negative manipulation by the, media, the fear mongrels, there's so much to be afraid of out there in the world. There's so much negativity. But if we can train our brain and our hearts to witness grace in action, because it's everywhere, then we'll turn that coin over. And in our own life, like gratitude did with me, I'm hoping that then all of a sudden grace within us is, is expanding beyond us. That if I am all of a sudden witnessing grace in everything, then how can that not influence my entire life and those around me? And then when we share it, and 11 of us are holding space and witnessing an example of what one person witnessed as grace, that will also expand that experience out into the world. So anyway, I was reminded of that, Lynn, because of that beautiful story you just shared. And, another representation, Evie, would be from, yes, you're worrying, but you're no longer swimming in fear, that, and you are living in trust. That's a huge representation of grace, excuse me, swimming with you. Anyway, so I thought I would share that, and I'm complete.
I love the practice. I absolutely love it. And I love the differentiation you've made between gratitude and grace, and actually really making sure you don't take for granted the little things that you see that are daily examples. But we do tend to, because tend to be wired for negativity. You already made the shift to be able to do that much more easily. So that's wonderful.
Well, and it's, at first it was easy for me to go back into the habit of recording what I'm grateful for, but that's okay, because gratitude is on one of my arms of what grace represents to me. But I wanted it to be more than that. And so I'm on a search for it now throughout my day, which means I'm not looking for the bad. I'm actually in search for only the good. And one example that you just reminded me of is the simplicity of, I was running late and I was taking some back roads to get to a meeting, and there was a crosswalk. No, there wasn't a crosswalk. And the car in front of me slowed down and waved for a homeless man to cross the street in front of her. And I knew, because I was in a rush, that I would not have done that. I would not have slowed my car down and stopped for a homeless man in a shopping cart to waddle across the street, because it would have taken so long, and B, because he wasn't even trying to stop traffic. He was just going to stand there and wait till an opening happened. But she stopped and waved him across. And in that moment, I went, I'm witnessing grace right now, in that simple act of kindness and respect. And the guy waved and tried to hustle best he could across the street. And it was just so endearing. So yeah, it's already working to witness it, instead of being impatient and rolling my eyes and, are you freaking serious? Instead, I took a breath and went, oh my gosh, I'm witnessing grace in action right now. Put it in my book. So
I love it. Thank you for that too. Like Evie said, I've done gratitude for seems like ever. It's how I get to sleep many nights. I just lay in bed and think about all the things I'm grateful for in the day. But grace takes it one step further. Gratitude is being thankful for, for all that we have around us, or whatever. But grace is actually witnessing that, and that's totally different. That's
right.
Totally different.
Well, it's and when we bear witness to anything, whether it be in a friend sharing a profound story with us, or if we see it and witness and observe it happening and we have an awareness, that witnessing, that bearing witness anchors it into reality. It makes it part of not just our reality, but the earth's reality. You know, it's like if a tree falls in the wood, does it make a noise? Well, maybe not, because no one is witnessing it. But the second someone witnesses it, it becomes a reality. And I, you know, so right, you're absolutely right, Linda. It takes it to the next level because it's different than owning something I'm grateful to. It is like, wow, I think it's backed by a prayer of more of this, please. More of this, please.
Yeah, I like the anchoring. You're anchoring it into the world where gratitude doesn't so much. I mean, gratitude is for your own self. I think of, but grace is for yourself, but for everyone else out here. Because if I'm gratitude for this bed and warm blankets when I go to sleep at night, that's not impacting anybody else, or that's not whatever. That's that's good for my soul, and it's wonderful to do. But grace, yeah, thank you for that. I'm going to really be open to that.
I'm glad I shared that. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's the matter with me today, but I am so neutral. I don't seem to have a feeling or an opinion on anything. But Lynn, when you were talking about feeling that, I call it fatigue. And it's becoming very apparent to me that when I do a lot one day, the next day, I don't have the energy to do anything. And I'm just honoring it. And then the next day, I'm back. And because I'm recognizing it and honoring it, it's just one day. But I used to push being tired to the point where when I did get tired, it would make me nauseous. I was so tired. And I'm not letting it go that far this time. So I feel really good about that. But the state of grace is what you reminded me when you were talking about it was last year, I was involved in enough groups that I had a meditation every day. And going into a group meditation every day was life-changing to me. And to me, I was living it more in a state of grace than out of a state of grace, because I kept feeding my soul, and that positive energy just kept expanding within me. There's so much going on in the world, and it keeps showing up in my emails, and then I read it to get rid of it. But I read it first to see what it is. And then it just leaves me in a total state of scattered energy and chaos, because I can't change the world. So I just, staying focused is hard, but staying focused here is a little easier because there's so much going on right now, being that this is a construction site, but there's so much fabulous work going on. And I get to sit in the garden and watch it because I can't do anything to help with it. But the physical therapy is going really, really well. Huge improvement over the last 10 days. So I'm really excited about that. And I am ready for a meditation. And maybe what we'll do is, to me, it's a grace. Yeah, it's an expanded consciousness. But sometimes I have to be in gratitude to get to it. And so whatever works for each of us is what we want to do. And I think what I'll do is just lead us off with be still and know I am. And then you and spirit finish it. And that's your meditation. And do you want to do 10 minutes or 15 minutes?
just, I'll need to jump off probably at least 5 minutes before 10 because of another call.
Let's do 10 minutes.
But I think 15, either way would work.
Okay. Sometimes I just need longer to get to where I want to be, but we can do 10 minutes. So first, I just want to call in all our spiritual teams and calling in the PTO and our tag team to identify, neutralize, remove anything that's not of our light, that all dark energies, dark entities, parasitics, hitchhikers, intruders, invaders be gone. That all our limiting beliefs be gone. All our limiting patterns of behavior and thoughts be gone. It's time for healing. It's time for transformation. It's time to transcend the limiting human ego and intellect and move into the expansion of grace. And in our state of grace, let's set the intention for balancing and healing our female bodies emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and energetically. That the life force within knows exactly what is needed, when and how it's needed. And from a state of gratitude and trust and faith, we allow that process to happen and we claim perfect health. It will be spiritually first, and then it will be emotionally, mentally, physically, and energetically. Our perfect state of being in a female bodysuit. So set the intention to receive what your higher self wants you to know today. Be still and know I am. And I will call us back. before you come back from this state of being at peace, send out or radiate out the qualities of love and light, grace, trust, wisdom, whatever comes to mind. Radiate out to friends and family. Radiate it out to humanity. And send blessings to Emma and Angelique and her husband Robert, and to everyone on your list, and especially to everyone we disagree with. And when you are ready, you come back to our circle. Well, that was interesting. I thought I knew where I was going, but I didn't. I was an empty vessel, absolutely empty. And so I took in emptiness and I took in negativity, which was really unsettling and kind of alarming. And I said, okay, but then I just want to be the hose to the vacuum. I don't want to be the vacuum. And it goes above and it goes below, not into me. So I sat with that and I just felt the emptiness. And then it just filled up with everything I call love and light. And I had my power back. And then I was reminded the most powerful prayer is to send that out to those you don't like. Send it to your enemies, because it automatically goes to friends and family. And that's easy. Sending it to those you don't like, that's a power. So I sent it out. Anybody have anything they want to share?
So as you were sharing your story, Sue, this doesn't happen very often to me, but I saw you transforming into Archangel Michael. And, he carries a cosmic vacuum. And so he sucks all the negativity out and just disperses it. And of course, he's not the one absorbing it. And that's such a brilliant thing that you brought up. I mean, how many times have I tried to remove the energy, but I'm the freaking vacuum? It never occurred to me that I don't want to be the vacuum that stores, the stuff. I want to be the one that's directing the hose, right? And then dispersing of the vacuum of the bag that's carrying, But as you were talking, I'm like, oh my God, she is exemplifying, channeling one with Archangel Michael. His aura is blue, you're wearing blue, you're sitting on a blue couch. I mean, it just was extraordinarily powerful and beautiful. So when you said, and then I got my power back, I'm like, yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Let's just be one of the most powerful archangels on the planet in heaven. That was beautiful. It was beautiful. Should I just go ahead and share since I'm
You're
um,
bringing up,
off
Cinda.
mute? So what do I have to share? I don't know, except that it was absolutely beautiful. And I love sitting in silence. And I realized I just sat with the I am, I am. And I realized the power of the I am that I am statement. Because I realized in that moment that we're not the I, but we are the M, the AM. I am. And it's infinite. I am. That's just what I sat with and swam in. It was glorious. So thank you, Sue, for this opportunity to do this morning. So appreciate it, and I'm complete.
Evie, Lynn,
I was just bathed in peacefulness.
beautiful.
Thank you, Sue. That was really lovely.
And I keep, every time you say, be still and know, and fill in the blank, I keep going back to, I am as God created me. Ever since that came to me, it's like it stays, that's what I take into meditation, because it puts me into that place of connecting with my soul, of who I really am, free of all the errors, mistakes, whatever else, as well as good that I've done in the world. It's just, I am perfectly loved and created by God, who's perfect love. So I just sit there. It just feels like my body's healing.
Evie, when you know your date, let us know. The
Yeah,
date of
right now it's the 15th of July, but that may change. And I'll keep you posted.
So we'll put it you in circle.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sue, Evie, and Cinda.
You're wonderful. Morning.
Great way to start the day.
Awesome. Have a great, blessed day. Full of grace.
Yes.
And noticing.
Yes.
Yes.
Paying attention. Yes. Life changing. Okay, you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah.